Hello students. So yesterday we had completed the protective tissues, including that of the cork cell. And since cork cell is a protective tissue, so its first function is to protect, as well as it is a dead cell. Later on we started with that of the animal tissue. And you know student, animal tissues are basically classified into 4 types. That is epithelial, muscular, connective and nervous tissue. So we started with the epithelial tissue. Epithelial, it means the epidermis. Now epithelial tissues are also divided into 2, that is simple and that of the stratified. When you see an epithelial tissue, you will find that the cells, they are very closely packed with each other, and due to which there is no intercellular spaces present between them. Now today we will start with the types of the epithelial tissue. So we had discussed earlier that epithelial tissue is basically classified into 2. That is simple epithelial tissue and that of the stratified epithelial tissue. Simple epithelial tissue is that tissue in which one layer of the cell is present. While in case of the stratified epithelium students, these consisting of a more than a one type of a cell in it. Okay? Now these epithelial tissues which are divided into simple and that of the stratified, on the basis of the shape they are divided into squamous, cuboidal, columnar. Okay, now we will start with that of the squamous epithelium. So squamous epithelium, they are flat cells. Okay, so if we see it, we find that the cells are thin, they are flat, having a prominent nucleus in it, as well as they are lying on a membrane, a non-cellular membrane, that is a basement membrane. Okay, these squamous epithelium, they are consisting of irregular shaped cells, and these cells, they are fitted together like that of the floor tiles. Okay, and thus we also known as this squamous epithelium is also known as a pavement epithelium. Okay, just because it appears like a floor tile. Or if you see it, look at the cells from the top, you find that it is hexagonal or polygonal in shape. But you can say that it is a irregular shaped cell, consisting of a irregular shaped cell. These cells, they are arranged together, and you see student, when we are saying that these are fitted together, they are compactly arranged together, it means there is no intercellular spaces present in it. So we can say that it is a irregular shape, thin, flat and compactly arranged tissue. Okay, which is not having any intercellular spaces between them. Okay, and they lie on a basement, on a non-cellular membrane that we call as a basement membrane. Okay, so if we look at it, it is like a continuous sheet, since it is does not have that of the intercellular spaces between them. You can see here, this is the structure of a simple epithelial tissue, and it is compactly arranged. You see it supposed to be like an irregular or a polygonal or a hexagonal shaped cell which are fitted together, and there is no space between them. So it appears like a continuous sheet. Okay. Now what are the locations where it is found? So you see student, one more thing is there, that this membrane, okay, this squamous epithelial tissue, it is a continuous sheet and a very thin membrane is present in it, and because of the thin membrane of the squamous tissue, squamous epithelium, they help in the exchange of the substances. Okay, so because of the thin membrane, it help in the exchange of the substances, or exchange of substance can take place easily. So on that basis, we can say that where it is present. So it is basically present in the delicate lining of the cavity, like in alveoli. So you see, student, in case of a alveoli, there is a exchange of the gases take place. Okay, or it is present in that of the lining of the capillaries. So you know that in capillaries there is the exchange of that of the food nutrient, and due to which oxygen as well as that of the glucose take place. Okay, it is also present in the esophagus, in the mouth, nose, and the other places also. Okay, so blood vessels are there, and that of the alveoli. So if suppose we say blood vessels, especially that of the capillaries, so it is present in the lining of the capillary, where the exchange of that of the food and oxygen can take place in each cell. Okay, and that is why it is having the thin membrane, because of its function, because it have to exchange the materials. Now, this epithelial tissue, when we were discussing about its structure, we said that it lie on a basement membrane. So the epithelial tissue, why it is having a basement membrane, students? It is because the epithelial tissue is not supplied with the blood vessels. Okay, so if there is no supply of the blood, then how the tissue will get nourishment? Okay, so if there is the blood supply to that of the epithelial tissue is not occur, and due to which this basement membrane is there. So what is the role of this basement membrane? It will help that of the epithelial tissue in giving nourishment, as well as it help in the diffusion process also. So somehow this membrane help that tissue in giving the nourishment, as well as help in the diffusion process also. That's why the epithelial tissue, they lie on a non-cellular membrane, and that is the basement membrane. Okay. Now when we talk about that of the simple epithelial tissue, student, so what is the function of this simple epithelial tissue? Simple squamous epithelial tissue, that it help in the diffusion and filtration. Right now I discussed that since it is having a very thin membrane, due to which it help in the diffusion, in exchange of the gases, as well as exchange of the food material. Okay, second one, that it is a single layer of the cell. So although it protects the underlying part of the body from the mechanical injury or entry of the germs, but not very effective. Okay, so first of all, we can say also that the function is diffusion. The main function of the epithelial tissue is diffusion, but since it is present at the outer surface, so we can say that it protects the underlying part of the body from the mechanical injury. Not only that of the mechanical injury, but it also prevents the entry of the germs, that of the chemicals. Okay. We can also say that it helps in the diffusion, and the second one is the filtration. So how the filtration process occur in case of the squamous epithelium? So squamous epithelium is a selectively permeable membrane, so by which the filtration process can occur. So these are the properties of that of the squamous epithelium. It is a thin, flat, polygonal or a hexagonal shaped cell which are compactly arranged together, which are fitted together like that of the floor tiles, and due to which there is no intercellular spaces, and thus it seen as that of a continuous sheet. And since it is like that of the floor tiles, we use a term for it, and that is pavement epithelium. These squamous epithelium, it lie on a non-cellular membrane, and that is known as a basement membrane. The role of the basement membrane, that it help in the giving nourishment to that of the epithelial tissue, as well as it also help in the diffusion process occurring in that of the squamous epithelium. Okay. Now, if suppose we talk about the location, so on the basis of its function, you see that it is basically present in the alveoli and the blood vessels, especially in that of the capillaries. So by which the process of diffusion, you know that this epithelial tissue is having very thin membrane. So due to which the process of diffusion can take place very easily. So it is present in the esophagus, it is present in the lining of the nose and that of the alveoli, as well as the capillaries. The lining of the capillary is also consisting of the made up of a squamous epithelium. Now the function of the epithelium, it help in the diffusion, student, as it help in the exchange of the gases, as well as it also help in the exchange of the food substances. Since it is the outer covering, that's why it help in protecting the underlying parts of the body from injury, from entry of the germs, even from the chemicals. It help in the filtration process, since it is a selectively permeable membrane. Selectively permeable surface is formed from that of the squamous epithelium, by which the filtration process can occur. So this is the structure, function and that of the location of this squamous epithelium. Now we will see the another type of a epithelial tissue, and that is known as a cuboidal epithelium. When we said the cuboidal, the name is indicating everything, that is a cuboid shape. Means it consisting of a cube-like or a cubical cells. And these cubical cells, they are square in the section, but they are having the free surface, and that free surface, it appear hexagonal. Okay, so it is a cube like structure, and that is why the name is given cuboidal epithelium. Now this cuboidal epithelium, they are having a prominent nucleus. A nucleus is present at the center, as well as a living cytoplasm is present in it. Okay, so it consisting of a cytoplasm, it consisting of the nucleus, and here also this cuboidal epithelium rests on a non-cellular membrane, which is known as a basement membrane. So it is hexagonal from the free surface and square at the section, or we can say it appears as a cube-like a cells, and that's why the name is cuboidal, and it consisting of a nucleus and a living cytoplasm is also present in it. Okay, it lies on the basement membrane. Now if we talk about the location, student, so basically it is found in the gonads. Okay, gonads, that is in the testis and the ovaries. So because of that, it also known as the germinal epithelium. Okay, it means it is present at the germinal cells in seminiferous tubule and in the ovaries also as a cuboidal cell. Okay, so there are one modification by which the cuboidal epithelium changes into the another one. Before that, let me tell you the other location also where the cuboidal epithelium is present. These cuboidal epithelium is also found in that of the kidney tubules, in the glands, that is in the thyroid vesicles. It is present in the salivary gland, it is present in the exocrine pancreas, as well as it is also present in that of the sweat gland. So this is the cuboidal epithelium. Now, what is the basic function of the cuboidal epithelium, student? So, these cuboidal epithelium, it help in the absorption, excretion and secretion. As well as these cuboidal epithelium, it provides the mechanical support. Now, you know that the epithelial tissue is also divided. In some of the book you will say that another term, that is ciliated epithelium, is there, but this ciliated epithelium is basically the modification of the simple epithelium tissue. So in the cuboidal epithelium tissue also, student, there is one modification. So you see that this simple cuboidal epithelium, it is present at a non-cellular membrane, that is the basement membrane. So one surface is covered by that of the basement membrane, but you see the other surface is not consisting of the basement membrane. Thus we can say that the opposite side of the basement membrane is a free surface. Okay, so if suppose this free surface will have cilia on it, let me show you what is cilia, students. See, if this free surface will have a small cilia on it, a finger like a projection, or we can a hair like a strand is present in it. So if the surface is having cilia on it, we call this cuboidal epithelium as a simple as a ciliated simple cuboidal epithelium. Okay, so whenever cilia is there, it is known as a simple cuboidal epithelium. Why cuboidal? Because this cilia has grown on the free surface of a cuboidal epithelium. Okay, so that is the simple cuboidal epithelium. Now, what is the function of the cilia? Wherever cilia is there, its function is to move. Okay, so it is always there to move, and as it move, so it help in the conduction of a certain thing. So on that basis, if we see the location of the ciliated epithelium, we find that these are present in the nephron tubules, as well as it is found in that of the respiratory tracts. Okay, again I am repeating, student, we are talking about the simple cuboidal epithelium where our hair like a strand. If in the free surface cilia occur, then we call it a ciliated cuboidal epithelium. Cilia help in the movement, so it help in transporting, it help in the conduction of the certain thing. On that basis, the ciliated epithelium is basically present in the nephron tubules and that of the respiratory tract. Okay. So, what is the role there? If we see that the function of a ciliated epithelium, so the ciliated epithelium which is present in the respiratory tract, in the outer region, so what is the role there? That it help in throwing out the dust particle outside with the help of the mucus. Okay, so these cuboidal epithelium which is present in that of the respiratory tract, it is having the cilia, and the cilia is present at the outer region, and due to which it help in preventing the entry of any foreign particle. So it throw out that unwanted substance by the help of the mucus also, or we can say it help in throwing the dust particle with the help of mucus. The second reason I told you that it is present in that of the nephrons. So in nephrons also you see that the tubule part of the nephric filtrate. Okay, nephron consisting of tubules also. So that tubule part of the nephric filtrate has to be conducted. So this cilia, it moves in such a way that the nephric filtrate can be moved easily in that particular way. Okay, or the nephric filtrate can be carried in such a way. Okay, so in nephron, the tubal part, the nephric filtrate should be conducted in a proper way, so that will be help with that conduction helped by that of the cilia which is present in the cuboidal epithelium. So we can say that these are the different function of the ciliated cuboidal epithelium. Okay, it is present in that of the kidney tubules, as well as it is present in the respiratory tract, where the cilia help in the conduction of the material. It in respiratory tract, it help in throwing the dust particle away, and in that of the tubules, it help in the proper conduction of the filter rate. Okay, so if cuboidal epithelium is there, that is a cubical cell. Its function is absorption, excretion and secretion, as well as it help in the mechanical support. And if this cuboidal epithelium consisting of a cilia, we call it a ciliated cuboidal epithelium, and that ciliated cuboidal epithelium is having its own function and its own location. Okay. Now we will see the another epithelial tissue, and that is known as a simple columnar epithelium tissue. Now the term is columnar. What does that mean? That it is consisting of a column. Okay, so columnar epithelium, it consisting of the cells that is taller than broader. Okay, that's why its shape is like column. Okay, so these cells, they are taller. You can see these are the cells, they are taller and they are column shaped like a structure. When you see the nucleus, then you see that the nucleus is basically present at the base, or it is present at the bottom. Okay, so columnar epithelium consisting of the cell which are taller and taller than that of the broader, and nuclei is towards the base. Okay, sometimes these nuclei are present at the free end also. Okay, now before that we will understand that these columnar cells is also get modified into three parts. Okay, the first modification depends upon is the cilia. Again, like that of the cuboidal, we discussed that cuboidal epithelium modified itself into a cilia, and means consisting of the cilia, and due to which it get converted into, or we use the another term for it, that is ciliated cuboidal epithelium. Like that also, this epithelial tissue columnar also get modified into three. The first one that arise of that of the cilia in it. So you see, okay, now see here, the columnar, it is having free end also like that of the cuboidal cell. So if that free end consisting of the cilia, we call it a ciliated cuboidal epithelium. Now again, these cilia, they are having the function, so on that basis they are the location also classified. So you see that what is the location of the ciliated columnar epithelial tissue, that is, it is found in the fallopian tube. Now what is the role of the fallopian tube, student? Let me tell you that fallopian tube is basically present in the oviduct, okay, in the uterus. In the fallopian tube, the fertilization process occur. Okay. So when the fertilization process occur in that of the fallopian tube, that zygote which is formed after fertilization, that should be transported to that of the uterus portion. Let me tell you one more time that fallopian tube is a part of the uterus only, but is a part of the female reproductive system, but the fallopian tube is little bit at a different portion, a different location to that of the uterus. Okay, so fertilization process occur at a tube like a structure, that is fallopian tube, and the zygote which is formed, it get transported to that of the uterus. Now how this conduction occur, how this zygote travel to that of the uterus? Zygote cannot move by itself. So these columnar epithelial tissue which is present in that of the fallopian tube help in carrying the zygote to that of the uterus. Okay. So the first function, that it is present in the fallopian tube and help in transportation. As well as these ciliated columnar epithelium, instead of that of a fallopian tube, also it is present in the nephron tubules, and the function is the same, that it help in the transportation. Now the second modification that occur in that of the columnar epithelial tissue, that at the free surface, if there is a brush like a structure, okay, if a finger like a projection is there, then that bordered epithelium, that a finger bordered epithelium, we use the term for it, and that is known as a brush bordered epithelial tissue. Okay, brush bordered epithelial tissue. Okay, so it is a brush like a structure, and that's why we use the term that is brush bordered epithelial tissue. Now the brush bordered epithelial, they are having the more surface area. Okay, it is a finger like a projection, so if you see the fingers, so there is a space between each and every fingers. So this proves that the brush like columnar epithelium or brush border columnar epithelium, it is having a large surface area, and since it is having a large surface area, it help in the absorption. Okay, so it help in the absorption of the material. So on that basis, it is basically present at that portion where the absorption can take place. So the first one, that is, it is present in the intestinal tract. Okay, so it is present in that of the intestinal tract where the absorption process occur. As well as it is also present in that of the nephron. So it is present in the nephron where PCT, there is a tubule which we call as a proximal convoluted tubule. Okay, so there is a tubule in that of the nephron, that we use the term PCT. So it is present in the lining of the proximal convoluted tubule of nephron. And both the places, their function is similar, that it help in the absorption of the substances. Okay. Now we will talk about the third modification that occur in the columnar epithelial tissue. That is, sometime what happen, if this columnar cells, it become a secretory cell. Okay, it becomes consisting of the secretory cell, so it becomes a gland. Okay, and then these columnar cells, which is having the nucleus at the base, we called it a goblet cells, or we can say that it consisting of the goblet cells. Let me tell you again, that is, these goblet cells is produced if sometime the free surface, it becomes a secretory nature, it starts secreting the substances. So it means it starts acting like a gland. You know, student, that gland, they are having the role of the secretion. It secretes the different kind of hormones. The same with that of the goblet cells, that is, if it's work like that of the gland, it start working like that of a secretory cells, then we call it as a goblet cells. Okay, so what is the role here? Very easy to understand that these are secretory in nature and thus it helps in secretion. So basically it secretes mucus. Okay, so goblet cells help in secreting the mucus, and you know student that mucus is basically present in the inner lining of the stomach. Not in that of the stomach, but also in the intestine and the duodenal part. Okay, so it is basically these mucus are present in our digestive parts, digestive system. Okay, so it is present in the stomach, it is present in the intestine and the duodenal part of the stomach. Okay, so this is the three modification which occur in that of the columnar epithelium. Now on that basis we can say the columnar epithelium function, overall function of a columnar epithelium, that it help in absorption, it help in secretion, as well as it help in conduction. Okay, so these are the different function of the columnar epithelial tissue.